Another comeback against Vegas sends the Dallas Stars onward. Let's talk about it right now on Teal Town After Dark. All right, Pabs. Hi. How you doing? Welcome to Teal Town After Dark. This is your live interactive post-game show. We do this after every single night in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And if you want to be part of the show, here's how you do it. Join us with fellow hockey fans in the YouTube chat on the page or the app. And of course, you can follow us on the social, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, Facebook, Reddit, and of course, Discord. And for more Sharks content, hit us up at tealtownusa.com. Good evening, everyone. I am Eric Curry. You can always follow me at PuckGuy14 on the Twitter and the Instagram. And you have some people celebrating. You have some people like Skylar saying happy but confused about tonight's game. You would love to see not so mid-major loud noises. Absolutely. We might be getting some more people in later tonight, but we're going through the chat. We might as well go through the chat right now before we even recap this one. Yeah, baby. Rob Myban, Vegas is out of here. Let's go. Skylar saying happy but confused about tonight's game. PDB better get fired tonight. Loud noises. Lance, as AJ would say, you love to see it by Vegas. Actually, that's a jerk, but and he's trying to get that trademark, as he could say. So Pavelski 2, Vegas 1. Yikes. It's one of those things where it's like you're happy, but at the same time, Kevin Lacey, I see the Golden Knights really improved their penalty killing since last year. Yikes. Jerry F. Vegas will probably want an apology from the NHL for the delay of game penalty in overtime. No comment. So, hope you're all doing good this evening. It was Game 5 between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Dallas Stars, with the Dallas Stars having an opportunity to go to the Stanley Cup Final for the first time since 2000. And if I'm not mistaken, it is the 5th time that the franchise has gone to the Stanley Cup Final. It was twice, losing to the Islanders, I believe, in 1981, and losing to the Penguins in 1991, right before they would get, separated up for the Sharks expansion draft. And, of course, the 2 times previously, I should say, 99 and 2000, where Dallas won one cup and lost another one. So, with that being said, let's talk about this game. First period, Vegas was rolling a little bit. Stevenson had picked up on a breakaway with a nice deke to put it through the 5-hole of Stars netminder who entering tonight had a .952 save percentage in the Western Conference Final. That's unreal. And he was opposed by Robin Leonard, who was 1-2, had a .925 save percentage with a .168 goals against average. That's just amazing to see. And he was 1-2 in this series. And for that matter, you throw in Marc-Andre Fleury efforts in Game 1 where he only allowed 1 goal. Goaltending was not the problem for the Vegas Golden Knights in this series. It was absolutely not. So, Lance will be working on that. Don't you worry. But it's it was a little weary early on as Vegas gets off to a 1-0 lead. They get a goal 8:14 into the first. They kind of dominated the first 2 periods, out shooting Dallas 25-14 in the middle frame. There wasn't anything in the second period, but then Riley Smith scored 15 seconds in the third, and again, it goes without saying, Vegas loves getting on their opponents, in the first 5 minutes, let alone 15 seconds. And Riley Smith with a sweet snapper that goes top shelf and in from Stasny to make it 2-0. Everything seemed pretty good. I thought Vegas wasn't getting tested defensively too much, but then things started to turn around. 9:54, Jamie Benn gets a loose puck, wristed it in to make it 2-1 Vegas. And then 16-13, the Game 7 hero, Yuri Kurivanta, gets a wrist shot on the power play after a dumb penalty by Vegas put them in the box. They get it in and tie it. Kurivanta from Klingberg and Gurionov would tie it at 2. This thing would, of course, go into overtime. The refs would discuss whether or not White Cloud took a puck over the glass penalty, and sure enough, he did on the ensuing power play. And you hate to see it ended like that, but Gurionov with the slapper tips it home from Klingberg and Hintz at 3:36 of overtime. That is your game winner. That is your series winner. That is your conference final winner. I'm going to kill you for the pronunciation. I am sorry, Kevin Lacey. Oh my God. Forgive me. It could have been worse. I could have said Cuccio for crying out loud, for that matter. But that gets it in. This thing is over in 5 games. I am going to say it right now. I thought if anybody was going to win it in 5 games, Vegas would have. But considering how Ben and Sagan have struggled, Ben has come on the last few games. Well, I'll give him that for sure. And Sagan, I don't know. I wonder if he is hurt. And I think Daryl Ray mentioned it on the radio broadcast if he was going to be hurt, if he's hurt or not. So the Dallas Stars move on to the Western Conference Final. Normally I don't put the regular title in, but we'll say I did put this together at the last minute. And that's Joe Pavelski having a Stanley Cup patch on his Dallas Stars jersey. And that's so Sharks fans that are in the chat right now, honestly, how are you feeling tonight? And I say that because the Sharks put out a tweet not too long ago, I would say maybe about 16 minutes ago. So how's everyone feeling tonight? Yeah, and kind of looking at it, Kevin, I see yours. It's like I just cheered hard for the Sharks' biggest rail from their first 20 years. So conflicted? There's very happy for Pavelski. Some people are saying bittersweet for Pavs. Some are celebrating that the Knights have been eliminated. And it's interesting to take it into perspective because of what this does mean for the Sharks. Not to pull a Steve Dangle and say what does it do for the Leafs, but what does it mean for the Sharks? Because right now, this guy is 4 wins away from hoisting his first Stanley Cup. And he was a free agent who signed with Dallas. By the way, can we look at that hat? Fanatics. Come on. We could be better than that. It's like you just slapped a patch on. It literally looks like you just slapped a patch on. It's a little surreal because, of course, Pavs have done so much for the Sharks throughout 13 years. And, it's going to be tough. See, I would have been bitter a long time if Vegas won the Cup before us. I think at this point, now that they're going to go into year 4, where they've made it to a Cup final, made it to conference final twice. I can live with it now. They've gone through some pain. They haven't gone through 1171 and 2 pain, but they've gone through some pain. And I think that's a little bit interesting. Anthony Sanchez, honestly, I'm a little bit bitter. Uh, you know, so there's that. Felix saying happy for Pabs to be going far again. I'm happy. It's the feeling I get when the Dodgers get eliminated. That's Rob I would put it. Kevin, you're absolutely right. We'll get to that in a sec, but we are on the brink of Pavelski versus Goodrow in the Stanley Cup Finals. Um, yeah, it's amazing how that went down. Skylar, you hit it on my head. What's Joe Thornton thinking right now? Because the rumor was that Thornton, or there was talk of Thornton going to Dallas. It's tough to say, you know. Eli B SF, Tampa too fast for Dallas. We'll see what that happens. Why couldn't they have Adidas hats? Because unfortunately, Adidas has decided, or I'm sorry, the NHL has decided to go with Fanatics for everything on ice except for the jerseys now. So they let Fanatics do it, and well, if we say Fanatics 3 times fast, I think we get AJ on here. So we'll see about that. Chuck saying Tampa's probably going to win the cup, though. I don't know. Randy G, come on, man. Somebody keep an eye on Jonathan Marchessault's Instagram and Twitter. I don't know. Bernard's asking for DW's head. I don't know if it's going to happen now, but don't think an extra log just was thrown into the fireplace. That's underneath Doug Wilson's seat. That's for sure. Jerry F. happy to see Vegas eliminated. Vegas about to get a reality check with the flat cap. Well, the Sharks are going to do the same thing too. So, you know, did PDB get badly outcoached in these series? I don't know if that's the case. I would also say some of his ideas didn't work out, but I think the lack of scoring coming from everywhere. I mean, I can pull it up here, but you know, just makes me wonder, where did the offense go for the Vegas Golden Knights? Remember, they got shut out in Game 6 against Vancouver. They got... Oh, come on. Bro, Lehner's the reason we lost the series. Shake my head. The guy entered with a .952 save percentage. For crying out loud. With a goals against average of 168? Are you kidding me? Goaltending is not the problem in Vegas. Goaltending is far from the problem in Vegas. Discipline and your goal scoring. Where's your goal scorers? Where's Pacioretty? Where's Marchessault? Where's Stone? Like, seriously, where were they? I mean, seriously, think about it. Last series, Dallas had to win games by scoring 5+ goals. This series, they won 1-0, 3-2, 2-1, 3-2. And the Golden Knights scored a total of 5, 6, 8 goals in this series for a team that is offensively talented, with scoring depth through the entire lineup except for Ryan Reeves. I mean, come on. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you know, now was Stone hurt? You know, he looked really gingerly in the warm-ups. And I know AJ mentioned it in our DMs about it, but Also, yeah, in Sleepy, you're absolutely right. How many high scoring chances did Vegas have? Perhaps Dallas defense held their own. Yeah, and plus they had to claw their way through the neutral zone. A little bit of a trap going on, but they kept everything in the perimeter passing. Pierre mentioned it pregame. Um, that nobody was getting in front of Kudobin. Nobody was getting in in, in front of him or getting the rebounds. They weren't getting the ugly goals. They were getting just the regular shots, like that Riley Smith shot tonight, which was the score that gave them a 2-0 lead. That was pretty nice. That was a sweet goal. But you didn't see like those garbage, gritty goals that came in. And you look at where the goals came in for Dallas tonight. Ben was in the slot. Curivanta, would go in and pick up the loose garbage. Gurionov, yeah, that was a one-timer that won the game, but that was it. But that was it. And like I said the last show I was on, Vegas had a big adjustment to make going from just Vancouver to Dallas. You kind of wonder what it would have been like if they played Colorado, for that matter. I don't know. So we'll see. And Rob, normally I wouldn't mention anything about that, but you kind of wonder with the Raiders' victory yesterday. We'll see if the Knights become yesterday's news now that the Raiders are in town. That's going to be an interesting one to see down the road. So if you are just joining us, I see 39 of you watching. Welcome to Teal Town After Dark. This is a live and interactive post game. We do this after every night in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So if you want to be a part of the show, join us in the chat. Have some fun. If you want to donate to the show, use the super chat option. The portion of it will go back to help support the show. If you want to also follow us on the social, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, SoundCloud, Reddit, Discord. Oh, we're getting a special guest. Hang on. Somebody's joining in here. AJ, are you there?
What a time to be alive.
I am now joined by AJ Strong. As I was saying, hit that subscribe button down below. AJ, for the Sharks not playing a game in 6 months, we have 34 people watching a Sharks-based post-game show.
What a time to be alive.
So, now that we've gone through everything, and the chat's been going crazy, so I'm glad you're here. So, want to get your thoughts on how everything went down for you, besides what a time to be alive.
Oh, well, I mean, I think you start at the fact that coming into this, Vegas was the odds-on favorite. When it was down to the Final Four, everybody was saying that they're the clear favorites to go to the final and to win the whole thing, and they're the first ones out. And it's just interesting to see Peter DeBoer involved in both of these things.
Right?
I mean, that's I think I mentioned it at some point. Some guys on Sirius on the NHL Network were talking about that, and I think it was probably around the time when Vancouver, when Vegas was getting Demcode, there was some talk that if DeBoer doesn't make this happen, he could be on the hot seat.
Right.
Makes you wonder. Hold on.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm going to go through the chat really quick. Chuck saying once the Golden Knights start losing, the fan interest go down. But I'm kind of in agreement with Kevin. I don't want the fandom for the Knights to wane. I just want them to smarten up and not be dicks to everyone on social media.
Oh, see, now Kevin hitting it on the head.
Yeah.
Like, with any luck, this gives Vegas fans a hint of humility, just a scotch.
Right.
That being said, is there a contingency out there that are going to blame another series loss on a penalty? Perhaps, but it's a penalty. Like, that's the great thing about this penalty. It's not subjective. It either went out or it didn't. It either touched
Right.
glass or it didn't. So you can't sit there and go, oh, the refs jobbed us. Uh, uh, you know, um, hold on. Where do my I have to bring up my stat counter again because I know at one point I was looking. It seemed like Vegas was getting a lot of opportunity. Again, this is yet another game where so they were both. Oh hell, I'm looking at the wrong goddamn score.
While you do that, I'm going to do
No,
a
I got it.
super chat from Jerry F.
Yeah.
$5. Thank you very much. Here's $5 for 5 minutes. Nighty night.
There you go.
There you
The
go.
Stars 2 for 4 on the power play. Golden Knights 0 for 3. I mean, that's got to suck. Hey.
And,
Uh,
and to see the Golden Knights take 4 penalties when after all of the discipline they've been having throughout this series.
well, and see, here's the funny thing too. Games 1 through 4, Vegas had a 2-1 advantage. 18 power plays to Dallas's 9.
Mm-hmm.
So to have that 2-1 advantage and not be able to solve Kudobin, huge. And if Vegas fans, if they want to be honest with themselves, all signs pointing to the contrary some days, but if they want to be honest with themselves, they're going to sit there and look and say, how many goals did Mark Stone score in this series?
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was 1. I don't think Mucho Salt. I don't think he had any goals this series, maybe like an assist. So, their big guys did not come to play. Meanwhile, you got guys like Pavelski and Jamie Benn, just beast mode. Hell, I mean, if you want to be honest, I'd say the Golden Knights' best player overall, obviously besides Leonard. I mean, that guy should still get a ton of press and pub. And, there's a lot of talk about he signed a 5x5 deal, although it's not official. But if you want to say anybody was like the stud for Vegas, I'd point to Shea Theodore. If I'm a Ducks fan right now, I'm going, motherfucker.
Big time, because you gave up Stone and then you threw in Shea Theodore.
But, oh, yeah, dude, I want to get on Mucho Salt's Instagram, like, toot sweet. There's no way he had to have turned off comments if he's got a brain anywhere near his head. But
see, I kind of like you say Mucho Salt. I kind of like Washiso because he was just whining the entire series, even if he was kicked out of the face-off circle.
Well, I mean, just look at the numbers. Game 1, they don't score. Vegas doesn't score at all. Game 2, yes, 3-0 shutout. All of it, all scored by forwards. Okay, that's great. Game 3, 1 defensive score, 1 forward score. Game 4, 1 defensive score. And then tonight, Stevenson with his 3rd of the playoffs. How many games are we into this whole thing?
Yeah.
And it's his third. And I think they're counting round robin stats for some bizarre reason. So you look at that, it's like, oi, oi, oi. Now, okay, you get, Theodore had an assist on that one. So again, Theodore, I think, was probably your points leader in this series. That is where Vegas fans need to, come to grips. It's, hey, give Kudobin his due, give Dallas their due. I mean, you outshot Dallas in almost every single game, and they just wore you out by playing just heavy defense. I think it was one of their power. Didn't Vegas have like a 5-on-3 in game 4?
Yes.
And I think they had all of 3 shots and 2 of them came from like outside 30 feet of the circle. Like, dude, you cannot. The refs didn't play a part in this one, guys. Sorry. Not when you look that you got twice as many power plays. And
yeah, and I mentioned it before. Pierre was diagramming it on the pregame on NBC, how Vegas's shots were definitely from the perimeter. They weren't getting in front of Hudobin. They weren't.
Credit Dallas for that.
And on the flip side, Dallas, look at the 2 goals that got him to overtime. Ben was in front of the net. Kirivanta, sorry, Kevin. Picks up the loose garbage from Leonard to tie it up, and that was a heck of a shot because that was a tough one to get through. But it was right within 5 to 10 feet of the net, while Dallas played a great defensive battle where they kept him around, and that's
And
what kind of stopped.
they just wear you down. And the fact, look at Dallas. How many times had they been down in a game and they were able to come back?
Hmm.
I mean, just remarkable, just absolutely remarkable. Funnily enough, though, I was, watching this game with Jerk, and we were talking about it. And once Vegas went up 2-0, I straight up said, don't worry, Dallas is going to win this 3-2 in overtime." And and lo and behold, here we are. It was like, that's so Dallas. And oh my God, Peter DeBoer, the memes are going to go crazy. But the thing that just we've talked about this ad nauseum, the credit Gen X. Your best DeBoer is first year DeBoer. It's only going to get worse, Vegas fans. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Right.
This is the best he's going to do. And you think about it. If Vegas, still great team. It sounds like they're going to have Leonard for the long haul. Great team, still lots of great pieces. But how funny would it be if they 4 years and they get like hit for the cycle, if they go out in round 2 next year? So then it's like, round 3 or final, round 1, round 3, then round 2. Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Hit for the cycle, guys.
Hit for the cycle. That'd be nice, especially if it were against the Sharks in the second round. But let's not get to that.
The Sharks are going to be, I don't know if they're going to be in the playoffs next season. But
Not really. Kasper Kahari, PDB out of a job now. Man, would that be bad? And heck, just think, hey, wouldn't it be funny if they brought Gerard Gallant back?
I still thought it was a mistake to get rid of him, to be honest. I didn't understand that whatsoever. Again, I think it's scapegoat. I think they were in a little bit of a panic. I think they just panicked too soon. I think they could have done something else, but I'm just so tickled by this, and it's lovely to see it, to see Pavelski have yet another payback. It's just so weird how Pavelski and Vegas, how this has all like been tied together. Dear Lord, you really need to optimize your images. Can we talk about these hats for a second? Dear God, Fanatics, can you get a goddamn design crew that knows what they're doing? These look like John Deere hats, for Christ's sakes. I mean, seriously, these are pathetic.
It looks like it's a sublimated patch that they just glued on.
Oh, I'm sure they did, because it's a Fanatics hat. They don't know how to stitch. They just glue. But it's... I'm just shocked by this. Now, there's a couple other things that I think we need to get into as well.
Okay.
There were rumors. Okay. There was a lot of speculation around the deadline that Joe Thornton could potentially be moved to the Stars. Can you imagine if Pavelski is holding the big shiny thing over his head in about a week and a half or so?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Now, Jumbo, of course, will be absolutely thrilled. I'm sure all the Sharks that spent so much time, I'm sure he's getting text messages up the wazoo right now from former Sharks players, with the exception of Barclay Goodrow, perhaps. But he's got to be getting text messages from everybody. But boy, if he lifts the big shiny thing over his head, I'm sure Jumbo's going to be the first one to congratulate him. And it wouldn't surprise me if the very next text he sends is to Doug Wilson saying, "You're not going to see me next year in Teal."
Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me.
This is kind of like, the calm before the storm. And Kevin's agreeing with you, dude. I thought about the same thing about John Deere, AJ.
That's what it looks like, man.
But
it looks like a cap that some good old boy would be wearing on the back of a tractor.
But this is kind of going to be probably the weirdest 4 weeks in the National Hockey League. You're going to have, Tampa could finish off tomorrow, which probably means that later that night they would start the Stanley Cup final at the rate that the NHL is putting this at.
Well, the best thing for the NHL is that this could potentially finish so fast that the cup could be handed out before the end of September. So it gives the NHL a bit more time window to get all their ducks in a row and everything. And I know Lacey's saying, don't feel the Stars would have made it if Thornton was on their team, unless it's a healthy scratch. And I would agree with you. But I'm, you can't, if this happened, everything else would have been the same. No. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm just saying that Thornton probably, if there was something to those rumors, and it sounded as if there was a lot going on there,
Right.
boy, that's got to be that's got to stick right here. Now, if one of the other teams that was talking about getting him was Tampa, holy shit,
Oh
yeah, bye
God.
Thornton.
Yeah. Which means Joe Thornton will be signed by Toronto on October 9th.
Well, and now how many? Now we were all focused on essentially four players, right? Four former Sharks: Brendan Dillon,
Mm-hmm.
Barclay Goodrow, Patrick Marleau, Joe Pavelski.
Right.
Raise your hand if you had Pavelski getting there first. You lying motherfuckers, put your hand down. You lie.
You right.
No,
You right.
you were thinking it was going to be like Dillon or Marlowe above Pavelski. Like the Stars, out of those four teams, Penguins, Capitals, Lightning, Stars, every one of you sons of bitches would have had the Stars fourth on that list. Don't lie to me.
Yeah. Anthony Sanchez, will the next season be a full season or a shortened season? It's supposed to be a full season. They have been talking about starting December 1st, but more and more lately, and we heard from Pierre LeBrun from Insider Trading on TSN that Deputy Commissioner Bill Daley is kind of leaning towards the end of December, January 1st, and that some of these team homeowners are
Fine. Start it with an outdoor game.
Start with an outdoor
an empty outdoor game.
Yikes.
Oof.
That's how we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have outdoor games during the winter time to have 17,000 people in the arena, out there. But like I said, these next 4 weeks are gonna be crazy. You're gonna have the Cup final, then you're gonna jump right into the draft on October 6th and 7th. Then free agency starts on the 9th, and then there are some teams that are gonna be scrambling to find players. There are gonna be some teams like, what is it? Buffalo, I think, has like $33 million in cap space. I think Colorado has a bunch of cap space. I mean, this is going to be a quite interesting next few weeks if you're a hockey fan.
Well, not only that, the fact that there's been this whole push of, I mean, I don't know if Dallas was ahead of the curve when they had Lettinen in the Emmy, but there's this whole push now. It seems everybody doesn't want the starter and the backup in net. They want 1A, 1B. Yep. And it's like, I'm sorry, I don't think there are 62 1A, 1Bs in this league. I don't know that there are 32 1A, 1Bs in this league. So it seems like goaltending could be at a premium. We're just a few short weeks ago, we were talking about how we're like, I feel like the Sharks, like Thomas Greiss, could totally see him back in Teal. Like it seems like it could work out well for all parties involved. Now, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if Greiss ended up in Vegas behind Leonard. Because it's cheaper. If they can find somebody to take Fleury off their hands for that price, oof.
And see, you got to look at who's going to take Fleury and $7 million for, what is it, a couple more seasons?
Oh yeah, but there's going to be somebody that'll do it. There's always somebody, that it's like the Erik Karlsson thing. Hey, if the Sharks didn't sign him, somebody else would have. There's going to be somebody out there, or it'll be a case of they'll take him for a year to turn around and make him available to Seattle or whatever. I mean, who the hell knows? Maybe Calgary or Edmonton takes a flyer on the guy, somebody who's, that's in need of goaltending. Because you look at Edmonton and Calgary, they're like, the two teams that it's like, oh, if only they had some goaltending.
Kevin agrees with that. I like that call. It's and Davalos, love the San Jose hockey talk during the playoffs, during the off season. It's all good. Appreciate it. You need a better jersey in your avatar. Jerry F saying Sharks goaltending is more 3A and 3B.
You're not wrong.
Yikes. Martin Jones 3 years ago was an all-star,
But you guys have heard me say it a bajillion times. For all the talk of the goaltending, look at the numbers. Look at what they did in the 17-8 or the 18-19 season. What did they do in the 19-20 season? The numbers are almost identical for both Jones and Dell. You know what's not identical? scoring. Tied for second in scoring one year,
28th.
28th or 29th the following year. So, yeah, you can outscore bad goaltending if you don't like let all your forwards leave.
Yeah.
And not have anybody to fill that cup. But either way, again, stick taps to Dallas. I mean, they blew up my bracket early on. There's a lot of brackets that were busted because Hockey Jerk had Vegas winning this whole thing.
Yep.
So there's I think most people are shocked with the exception of Pat. I don't know if he's in here. PT, I forget his user ID, but dude, he showed up. He showed off a tweet from like last September, October, and he picked Dallas and Tampa in the final.
Whoa.
Dude, that's like all the foreseen points and every cookie on the planet.
No kidding. I hope he I hope he did that on the bracket challenge then.
That's what I told him. I hope you put money on that. But
Big 8-way 92. Vegas made huge mistakes that led to this elimination. This goes back to July of 2019.
See, I don't think they made huge mistakes. With the I don't think firing Gallant was the answer. Getting Leonard was a stroke of genius. I'm not even sure if they get this far without Leonard. But we said it earlier, dude. Their big did not come to play. The big money guys did not show up when it meant the most. Meanwhile, look at Pavelski, what he has done in these playoffs. I mean, the dude had a hat trick. I think he's had I know he's had at least one game winner, possibly two. He's had a couple game tying goals. I mean, that hat trick that he had, the third goal of that came with 18 seconds left in the game to tie that game, to send it into overtime, which Dallas would win. So, I mean, Pavelski, for all the crap that he took during the regular season, that it's like, man, he signed this huge cut. This might have been a mistake for Dallas. 3-7. Dude's 14 goals this year, and he is not having a good start. But it's like, well, we come to find that he had some, like there was a leg issue or something, or he was battling something throughout most of the season, just like a couple years ago where he had the wrist injury or the hand problem, and not his best season. But dude had some time off, got healthy, and do you want the guy who's hot in November and December? Or you want the guy who's hot during the playoffs? You know what I mean? Yeah. That's where your $7 million going to. Dude, Pavelski has proven beyond a shadow of the doubt over the last 5 years. Dude shows up when it matters most.
Yeah, I mean, now that being said, he's also a good leader in the locker room. He had he had a goal last night, or the last game 4 to tie it up. But he's since the Colorado series, he's had 3 goals and 3 assists, which kind of surprises me in 12 games.
Okay, yeah, only 3 goals, only 3 assists, sure, but do we all remember him screening on the second goal in Game 4? Like he's making a difference. Plus, he drew a penalty in there. I mean, he was a beast in Game 4.
9 goals, 5 assists in these playoffs, including the round robin, and he's done his job. That's for sure. I mean, there's some people questioning maybe Tyler Seguin, and maybe before this, before these last few games, Jamie Benn.
Jamie Benn's poured it on in the last couple of games. When's the CEO of Dallas going to come out and call out Seguin and Benn again?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, that would be nice. But this is just I could, and it kind of pains me to say this a little bit because I used to hate Dallas. Hated them with a passion.
There's still a hate there.
I was, there was Belfour, and this goes back a long way. There's the foot in the goddamn crease, and it's just like I hated everything about Texas with a passion. And all those games in the 90s, those playoffs that the Sharks had with Dallas and in the early 2000s. Oh, I used to. And who was that big son of a bitch they had on defense?
Darian Hatcher.
I hated that guy. Would I have wanted him on the Sharks? Sure. But I hated that guy. There was some people. Okay, Mike Modano, I did like him. But
freaking beauty.
And how great would it be to see Pavelski knock out Mike Modano's record in the playoffs wearing a Dallas sweater? for most goals scored by a U.S. player, right?
I'm sure Madonna wouldn't mind if it brought another cup to the organization.
No, not at all. But and one that isn't tainted or has an asterisk next to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But dude, I just I want to get on Vegas Reddit so much right now. Like I want to go see how our buddy at Sinbin is doing right now. And
Oh,
this is
it's
now is this me? Oh, Turco. Oh, that's
yeah,
oh
Turco.
I might have hated him more than Belfort because Belfort was good. Turco used to piss me off. It seemed like every time that he was in trouble, the net behind him was the loosest thing on the ice. It was
Yep.
amazing how quickly that net would come off when Turco was in it.
Is that a beauty of a puck or what? I just saw this over here.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. Just,
Nice player. But oh yeah. This is again Vegas still tons of talent. We'll see how they handle their off season, but they still, got a ton of talent there. But it'll be interesting to see if and what moves they make. Again, they're gonna. I go back. Besides the big names not showing up for this series, can we remember how a lot of this all kind of began when the offensive output kind of started circling the drain? Alan Walsh, that tweet,
ooh.
that image, the sword, in the back of Fleury. That's a lot of things started with that. And then you not only that, but then you had the Mucho Salt meltdown on Instagram where he lost it, clearly didn't have his emotions in check. And then you've got the word coming out on Twitter that they'd signed Leonard 5x5, basically, cementing him as like, yeah, Fleury, he is now 1A.
Or 1B.
No, I think he's 1A. Leonard's 1A.
Oh, Leonard 1A. I'm sorry. I thought you were mentioning Fleury.
Oh, Leonard is 1A. Now, and then see, they're up against that cap.
Yeah, the Vegas Golden Knights have about a skosh under 5 million.
But hello, Leonard, 5x5.
Yeah, so a move is going to have to be made. I mean, you have Stone at 9.5. You have, I think, Pacioretty and Stastny 7 and 6.5 million. William Karlsson, that was a steal deal for them to get him at 5.9. So they have some work to do. Cousins, Stevenson, Nosek are their free agents, and only Nosek is the unrestricted of the kind. But they have a couple of defensemen like Derek England, Vegas guy, but yeah,
dude, he's 38. He gone.
Yeah, but the big one that's going to be focused is Marc-Andre Fleury and his $7 million for the next 2 seasons. Can they move him? Could they?
Next 2 seasons? Oh yeah. I'm sorry, I was reading the wrong column. Yeah. So if you can find somebody to take that for 1 year, and then you expose him for Seattle. Now, will Seattle be dumb enough to take him?
But the thing is Vegas is exempt from the expansion draft. They can hang on to both. That's the catch, is that they could actually
hang on to this guy for. You're not going to roll with $12 million in your goalie.
Montreal's going to go with 15. Why not? I mean,
I think Vegas is a little smarter than that. You're not going to put $12 million in goal.
Yeah.
No. There was I don't know if it was The Athletic or not, but there was a chart posted somewhere that it was a bar graph that showed like per team, it's like, okay, this line in red is how much money they have devoted towards their forwards, yellow is defense, blue is goalie. I'm just shall we say, just putting out what the chart showed. And what it showed was the top 3 teams on there, the ones that had the most money put at forward, are responsible for the last 4 cup wins.
Yeah. And Paul Jordan making and I assume from this comment you are a Dallas Stars fan, but AJ, we know about the 93-94 Sharks who started 0-8-1 and got into the
Yep.
playoffs. Paul Jordan, so proud of these
Got in,
guys. They were 1-7-1 at the beginning of the season. One
got
seven and
into the
one.
playoffs, and knocked off the favorite to win the cup. So, and Lacey making a good point. Remember when we were all laughing at Dallas like 2 years ago about having Lettinen and Niemi in goal, eating all of their cap? Absolutely, dude. I was laughing about that forever.
Yeah, because they were letting a ton in.
But look now. So do you think this upcoming season the pressure is on Doug Wilson? Okay, now look. The pressure, I think Doug Wilson, he's built up enough capital over 15 years. He's only missed the playoffs twice during his tenure.
Right.
Dude has built up enough capital. He got the vote of confidence from Hasso back in February or whatever it was, that, if Doug Wilson has my complete and full confidence, blah, blah, blah,
Right.
blah, blah. He's going to have another year to try to dig out of this hole. Now, if the Sharks miss the playoffs again next year, and without addressing the complete void on the right side, I would bet that they will miss the playoffs again. If somehow the defense doesn't get more sound or produce a hell of a lot more points, if Jones and whoever replaces Dell, or if for some bizarre reason Dell stays, if those guys don't start standing on their head a little bit more, you need your goalies to steal a game once in a while.
Right.
And it seemed like that, it's like, hell, we'll just take them to win one once in a while. They don't even have to steal it. But if they don't address that void on the right side, I wouldn't bet on the Sharks to make the playoffs next season as it stands right now. No, I would be looking at Vegas, obviously. Vancouver, I think, is just going to, dude, and especially if they get their situation and if Demko can put a stretch together like he did in the playoffs, holy hell, watch out for Vancouver.
And that's if they don't hang on to Jacob Markstrom.
Thank you there.
There is a 1A, 1B situation there.
Yes, but you got Vancouver and Arizona or Vegas. Those are like, those are the teams that I would say right now are probably going to finish 1 and 2 in the Pacific as it stands today. Those would be my picks.
Right.
Then I'm thinking probably Edmonton. I think there's a decent amount of talent there. If they get a goalie, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean,
and it sounds like they might be in on Freddie Anderson from the Leafs.
All right.
I mean, it's possible there, but you're right. Edmonton, Vancouver, and Vegas are probably your 3 teams that are going to be locked in for the Pacific Division spots, and then you're going to
Arizona might surprise somebody, or if the LA's pipeline is supposed to be pretty stacked. If that matures faster than expected, maybe they get a little lucky. Maybe we see is Jonathan Quick even still there?
Yes, believe it or not, yes.
Yeah, maybe we see the Jonathan Quick of old for a while or something, or they get a 1A, 1B situation going there where they can maybe not have Quick play so much. But I just, I'm sorry. Just, don't have the teal tinted glasses on. And, you want to call me a pessimist, that's fine. But I'm a realist. And you also might want to put OT, but, never mind.
Yeah, I just noticed that. My bad.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm a realist, and right now, if I'm putting money down, it's not on San Jose to make the playoffs next season. I think. Oh, now to get back to the original question about Wilson pressure being on Wilson, I think if they miss the playoffs again next season, yes, there's going to be a pressure. Will that pressure be a little more so if Pavelski, a guy he let walk out the door? If Pavelski lifts the cup, yeah, I think it's rightly or wrongly, there's a portion of the fan base that will lose their shit on social media because anything that happens, there's a portion of every fan base that loses their shit on social media. There will be some people out with pitchforks if Pavelski raises the cup there will be a segment of fans that are going to show up with pitchforks for Doug Wilson being pissed off that they didn't keep him in San Jose.
Yeah. Alicia, and I kept this up for a moment while you were talking. Best quote from Vegas Reddit: DeBoer has now lived and died by Joe Pavelski.
So I guess we can replace him with who's that goalie
Peter
that we used to
Budaj?
make fun of? Yeah, yeah. Live by the sword, Boo die by the sword. Yeah. Oh no, that's great. And again, DeBoer, dude, just to 3-1 on both ends of it. I can't. I like
And it's Vegas of all people.
yeah,
Of
like
all
it's
teams, it was Vegas. If it were like Colorado or Vancouver, it's totally different. But it was Vegas.
somebody pointed it out. They're like, how what kind of rhetorical talent do you have to be responsible for Vegas's demise 2 years in a row, both coaching against them and for them? Now it's not DeBoer's fault that that Stone and Stastny and Pacioretty and Mucho Salt didn't like show up, but woof.
And that's the big thing is that those big players and big. I'm sorry, I'm saying this wrong. Big 8 Oi 92. He was saying that the big mistake was signing these guys to long-term deals, like 5+ year deals.
You talking about the Sharks?
No, I'm talking about Vegas. How they've
Oh,
locked them up. I mean, Stone, by all means, you do that. I think that was a great lock. But
I was like, William Carlson, really?
but William Karlsson had that breakthrough season, the first season the Knights were in the league, and gets and only, and I say this, only signed for 5.9 million because he could have gone for a lot more.
I don't, dude. I don't have a problem with Alex Tuck. I think by the end of that deal, that ends up being like a steal.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be very similar to like the deal that Vlasic had prior to his current deal. That remember there was a time that the Sharks had Vlasic for a steal. His value to dollar. Oh, the Sharks were Vlasic was making the Sharks look really damn good with that, and then Vlasic got paid.
Big 8 Oi 92. This is interesting. 3-2 lead on the Caps in the third period. They lost 4-3 in Game 5 and eliminated. 2019 had a 3-0 lead on the Sharks in the third period, lost 5-4 and eliminated. 2020 had a 2-0 lead on the Stars in the third period, 15 seconds in, Mather, and lost.
What have we learned, kids? Vegas needs to learn how to hold a lead.
Does this kind of take the how many times did we hear about the San Jose Sharks were the ones that choked all the time?
Oh yeah. And Kevin with a great point. Yeah, Pavelski was a steal for a long time.
Big
and
time.
I think that's one of the reasons that, there's certain people that are upset because they believe because he was such a good soldier for such a long time, dude should have got his money from the Sharks. He went and gotten somewhere else. Hey, that's fine. And again, this is going to be something that is debated for the next 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
This is good. Until Pavelski retires, there will be the Erik Karlsson, Joe Pavelski debate. If just me having it alone by myself in front of a wall, but it will be a debate that continues. Everybody knows my position on Erik Karlsson. But I'm just so fucking happy for Joe Pavelski right now. And if he can, if they are able to just continue, I took Calgary in the first round. I hate to admit it. I took Calgary when they were facing Vancouver. It's like, oh, God damn it. I just feel like the Canucks have been playing better than Dallas. Like they had a good run against Calgary, but I didn't put a whole lot into Calgary because we know how they shit the bed last year against Colorado in 5. Yep. And I thought, you know what? The Goodrow has got to come back. Johnny Hockey's going to have at least one decent playoff in my lifetime. I thought this year was going to be it. That didn't come to fruition. Just a lot of things went to hell. And I think Calgary, I overestimated Calgary, clearly. But I don't know. For me, Dallas wasn't just overwhelming, and I probably leaned Vancouver over Dallas. And then coming into this one, I'm like, look, the heart says Dallas, but the head says Vegas. Vegas has a lot of weapons. Dude, Dallas, I beg of you, please continue this. Get Pavelski his cup. And how brilliant will Pavelski look if he lifts the cup? How brilliant does he look that he signed, with who he did? And I guarantee you, Dallas, if they get the cup, they're looking at his next 2 years going, whatever. This is tip money, Yeah.
This is cash money because he got 2 years left, and
Yeah.
and honestly, for Pavs, if he gets bought out that third year, I'm sure he doesn't mind if he has a ring on his finger.
Oh, I wouldn't.
No,
I wouldn't. But is he going to end up back in San Jose? We've seen it happen before.
That's where I'm not sure. Did he leave on good terms with DW and the organization?
I have a question for you. We'll see that, my friend. That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
How? Because I'll tell you, if you watch that first interview, I think on NHL.com, NHL Network, where he's like on his front porch.
Yep, in Wisconsin.
He looks real happy to be a Dallas Star. He did it like there was no like, yeah, I'm gonna miss it here. It was just like, can't wait to get out of here.
Okay.
Like that's how it felt, and it was like, whew, that's a lot to take.
Yeah.
But here's a real question for you. When Joe Pavelski retires, if Dallas wins the cup this season, what jersey is he wearing when he retires?
Thankfully, they don't do that in the Hockey Hall of Fame, but that
what I mean?
That is a great question. That is a great question, and that will speak volumes as to what he feels about the organization. We all know the fans. I don't think there's one fan that wears teal that despises Joe Pavelski. Yeah, there were some.
There's
granted,
one. Somebody hit me on Twitter earlier that he's clearly not a Pavs fan, and that's great. Not every player is beloved by everybody.
But at the same time, and I admit, and you saw it on there too, and I think our friend Gentry called me out about it. It's like, I'm unsure if Pavs goes all the way, how I'm going to feel, because how much pressure that now puts on the Sharks to get their shit going, because it's just going to add more and more pressure to the team who's gone 30 years, and you see one of your longtime leaders walk in free agency, get nothing for him, and now is 4 wins away from winning a Stanley Cup.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's another guy that bizarrely enough was allowed to walk and ends up in Dallas, just like Niemi. Not that was any big loss, unless your name is Al Martinet. But anyway,
or Belfour.
Yeah, but the just the fact that you didn't get anything for him, that's gotta hurt. And I'm telling you, it would not surprise me if. Whether they'll ever admit it or not, I would love to be the fly on the wall. But if Thornton, after watching Pavelski, let's say, hypothetically, Dallas wins the cup, if Thornton sees that and goes, I'm out, like I'm anywhere but San Jose. Like if he's, or well, at least anybody who's contending. I can't imagine that Jumbo wants to, finish his career in, say, Ottawa. But you know what I mean.
Oh God, I mean that would be really bad. Oh, I'm choosing Ottawa over San Jose.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, Alicia, sorry, sorry, but I mean it is a question, and I'm telling you, if he was to announce his retirement, it's like, well, where are you holding it? American Airlines Arena or SAP Center? Where are you doing it? I think that speaks volumes. I got to be honest, man, and I've said this before. I think Pavs is pissed he didn't get his money. He didn't get paid. He did get. You look at the comments that Brian Burke made not long out, especially, and remember those guys on Overdrive just absolutely ripping Erik Karlsson a new one for lack of motivation. He was, making boneheaded mistakes, but around that same time, Brian Burke and a couple other people came out and said, there were guys on the Sharks that were pissed that Pavelski didn't get paid. Like he had paid his dues. It was time to get his. He didn't, you know.
And Kane and Carlson did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in Eric Carlson,
Y-
there's the detractors like myself. There are the guys who will defend him till the end of time. I get that. Everybody, nobody's universally liked.
Right.
You're only universally hated if your name is Chris Pronger. But it's or I shouldn't say that. I said you're only universally hated if your name is Gary Bettman or George Peros right now. But
Oh.
um, the the hold on, wait a minute. Alex, Pavs isn't making the Hall just like Marlowe. Al, I'm going to disagree with you on Marlowe. I think if Marlowe breaks the record, which he's due to break next season, I think he might get in just based on that. I think that's the thing that could tip the scale. First year, no. Now, is he going to wait as long as Doug Wilson? I don't think so.
I would hope not.
Yeah. But I think if he has the record for most games played, I think that could tip the scale into his favor.
Yeah, along with 500 plus goals.
Yeah.
And it helps that he was a Leaf to get the original 6 attention, which he got. RBG Productions, and I bring this up in a good point, AJ. Who knew that good goaltending and good defensive zone play could propel you to the finals?
Not the Sharks.
No. I say that because Bonus has instituted a little bit of a trap in the neutral
Yes.
zone.
It's not the most exciting hockey that Dallas is playing, but you know what? As long as you got the W at the end of the night, who cares?
But here's my point, though. We've seen a lot of goal scoring in these playoffs, and we all know how much this is a copycat league. Are we really going to go back into the dead puck era with them? Try with all these coaches. Oh, we got to institute a trap. We got to institute a trap.
No. Who broke that? Was it Tampa? Who was the team that broke that? There was some team that was running it like they wouldn't advance, and so the Kevin is going to know.
Oh, it was Tampa and Philadelphia,
Yeah.
where Philly was Tampa was doing like the 1-3-1.
Yep.
And Philly wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, they wouldn't advance the puck. It was like it was the funniest yet saddest game I've ever seen in my life. But let's see here. Okay, so it was Tampa. I thought so.
Yeah.
Well, I saw something else in the chat for a hot second, and where was it? Pavelski is bitter that Wilson focused on Carlson first. From Anthony. I don't doubt that. I don't. Somebody said. What was it? I think Pavelski did say in an interview that it was absolutely a money issue. Pretty sure that was something he said publicly. Well, yeah, homie wanted to get paid, which who doesn't? But yeah, in hindsight, there's a lot of people I think that are going to sit there and say, I think Jerk has mentioned this point too.
Right.
Why doesn't Doug Wilson make Carlson sweat a little bit? Like, didn't he sign him 2.5 weeks before the deadline or whatever? Like, why did you have to you had 2 weeks to play with? Like, see what else is happening out there. Is there a big run on other defensemen? Does somebody offer sheet him or do, oh no, I guess that wouldn't come into play, but does somebody, come banging on his door?
Do you look at the comparables like Roman Yossi? I think it was 9.5 or something like that.
Exactly.
But you also have the likes of Drew Doughty, who.
Yeah. See, but but it's hard for me. Like, I understand the comparison with Doughty a little bit, but Doughty plays such a different game.
Right.
Eric Carlson shies away from contact. Drew seems to invite it almost.
Now, does he shy away or was he hurt? And I'm not trying to defend EK at all, but is it because he was still hurt?
Well,
because we've seen highlights from Ottawa that was the year or the year prior to that, where he's just freewheeling, going through everybody. And remember that clip of Dustin Brown and I think it was Drew Doughty getting ready to play overtime in Ottawa against Eric Carlson, and they're shaking their. I don't want to. I don't want to go up against him. No, you take him. No, you take him. You
Uh,
know, and yeah, Al.
Again,
by the way,
I've
yesterday was the anniversary of the EK trade.
well, I mean, I've done it before. I've always equated EK65 to Deion Sanders. Very talented, very fast, very, shall we say, uh, against having contact. So either way, we'll see. Um, we'll find out next year. The dude has clearly had plenty of time to get healthy. If we don't, and
Yeah.
the other thing that scares me too is that EK65 has a reputation of dicking off during summer and playing himself into shape because he is aware that he's talented. He doesn't feel, and this is me speculating, but from the people that I've talked to, the reputation that the guy has is that he plays himself into shape. Statistically, it bears out. If you look at him, he's always had his worst stats in the first 6 weeks of the season every year.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to play his way into shape. So like come game 20, if he's not kicking ass, or if we see him shying away from contact, that's just part of his game. But the other thing that kind of makes me a little nervous too, you had some of the guys on NHL Network and a couple of the other on Sirius and whatnot. They're talking about projecting out for next season. And they're like, who's your top 5 that you think is going to Sleepy, you mean both of them are prima donnas? Yes. But projecting out, they had Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes, maybe John Carlson. Like these were like the 3 names that immediately came to mind when they're going, who do you think is going to challenge for the Norris next year? Mm-hmm. The fact that the highest paid defenseman wasn't even in the conversation says a lot.
Right. You're right. It
doesn't, although John Carlson may eclipse EK's number here pretty soon.
Yes. Although he didn't have a great postseason, and although if you take it from the rumors in the bubble, in the Toronto bubble,
I'm sorry.
They took it like
I don't know what I'm talking about. John Carlson got his money, and he's only getting $8 million. Think what you could do with an extra $3.5 million. Why, you might have been able to afford Joe Pavelski.
or worst
I'm
case
not
scenario,
saying
like Gus Nyquist or something.
Yeah. Yes. I'm not saying that Doug Wilson should have retained Joe Pavelski. I'm not saying, not for that money. Maybe I do 3x6. And maybe Pavelski goes for that. When you think about what he meant to the team, that you can't put on, it's hard to put a monetary value on what that guy brought to the dressing room.
Yep.
And his leadership.
You can't do that. You can't do that for sure.
Yeah, and guys much smarter than me that get paid to talk about this for a living have said the exact same thing.
Yep.
AJ isn't saying it, but I am.
Right.
Yes, burns to forward. Always burns to forward.
Oh, God. Oh, no. In actual Sharks news today, we've heard that Yoel Shellman, hope I got that right, Lacey and Jerk, is being loaned to, oh, boy, really? Allsvenskan. Okay. I'm sure I totally botched that up. But
Kevin, if you could, in the future, when it comes to names like that, if you could spell them out phonetically for the benefit of Puck Guy, we would appreciate that. Thank you.
Shut up. You're as bad as I am at times.
Sleepy saying, keeping Nyquist, Pavs, and Donskoy instead may have been better in hindsight. It may have. It may not have. Remember, Donskoy was garbage. What? He had like 1 goal from like
January. He had that game-winning goal. Sorry to jump on there. He had that 1 game-winning goal in January against Vegas, and then his next goal was the game winner in Game 7 against Colorado.
Yeah. Yes, I'm saying EK65 to forward, Burns to goalie. Absolutely. I'm not saying that they should have kept Nyquist, Pavs, and Donskoy, but you're talking about 3 guys that during their time that season produced 58 goals, 112 points. I'm not saying you keep those guys, but if you're not going to keep those guys, you find the people that are going to bring those points.
Yeah.
You got to replace. It's like Moneyball. It's like we're not going to replace Giambi and so. That we're going to replace them with the aggregate. We're going to find a compilation of guys that bring those same numbers with them at a different price.
Davalos is saying all Sven scan. Okay, so that's how it is. Kevin Lacey.
I think that's a Swedish scanner.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
It is a Swedish Tier 2 hockey, so going kind of like the verge of Jonathan Dahlin there a little bit. Sviej. Casper, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, Davalos saying, Donskoy wasn't working out here. He needed a change. Absolutely. And he looks insanely happy in Colorado.
Right.
So, good for him. That's fantastic. Again, 58 goals. Now, 38 of those came from Pavelski, but 58 goals, 112 points. And did you think Erik Karlsson was going to put all that together by himself? I don't think so.
No, but I think he was expected to have a lot to say in the
dude.
In the
aside from Barclay Goodrow, the entire team was expected to have a better season than they did. Barclay Goodrow was you know what Jerk said before I came on, and he nailed it. Barclay Goodrow was the MVP for the Sharks even after they had already traded him away. Like, that's how good he was for the Sharks this season. Or I should conversely say that's how bad the rest of the Sharks were. Now, Timo, I will say, came on the last 6 weeks of the season, but he started off horrible. Of course, we had the injury bug going around and whatnot.
Yeah, that didn't help either.
Yeah, but Wilson and company, vastly overrated, overvalued, whatever you want to say. The youth in the pipeline. How much did we hear about Czech and Shemilevsky? Neither of them even saw NHL time this year.
Yeah.
Other guys that we heard a little bit about, whether it was Yatankin or trying to think of the other person, but the ones that you certainly didn't hear that were going to be sticking around or making any impact was Shellman or Gregor. And they're the ones, if memory serves, played the most time from the rookies. So, dude, how do you miss that hard? To me, a lot. You sit there and say, if Doug Wilson is on the hot seat or whatever. For me, like the scouting and drafting, whoever is holding out the assessments for these guys. Now, granted, whoever's doing your assessing for like the 5, 6, 7 rounds when you pick up a Justin Braun and a Joe Pavelski and a Kevin LeBanc, sure, they're doing a good job. But whoever's doing your 1 through 4, they need to be like moved, like they need to go learn how to drive a Zamboni or something. I mean, Spanish Archer.
You mentioned Burns as a goaltender. Skylar Greenberg saying starfish goalie posture.
Sure. I mean, if you can grow out the beard enough, you can just have that cover the entire net.
And there's a number of things that people are talking about. Rax Igar saying, so bets on Hurdle ever recovering from this latest injury. I mean, he's already been skating. For that matter, he's skating, and that's the tough part too. AJ, is that the Sharks that are in the area have not, maybe not even in the area, just overall, if you're living in North America, they're not able to get on ice. I mean, the last time they saw ice was March 12th against Chicago.
Yeah, but you know what? For some of these guys, maybe that's the best thing, to
get away from it all for a little bit.
Yeah, just to take some time to just like completely unplug from it. Now, granted, you're obviously going to be rooting for Pavs, and I'm sure that there was guys that were rooting for Dylan and Goodrow and obviously Marlowe. But maybe
Doug
some
Wilson
of these
for Marlowe and Dylan.
Yeah. And hell, there might have been a little bit of rooting that I hope Tampa is the first one knocked out based on the deal that we got for Goodrow. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I look at cap friendly for the Sharks. The thing that scares the hell out of me the most is, where is it? I had it written down here. I'll come to you momentarily. It's weird. Oh, the guys at Cap Friendly are kind of moving some stuff around. Okay, the thing that scares the crap out of me the most is the 22-23 after that, and then following 23-24, because, dude, if Meyer goes like we're all hoping he should, he'll probably want a raise from his 6 million.
Yeah.
You know, and at that point he'll be about 26, which means he's probably going to want like the 7x7 or 7x8 or whatever the hell the cap could be at that point. I can't imagine it's going to go up too much since we're stuck at flat right now, but he's going to want to get some paid. And then what happens with Tomas Hertl the year before that? Does Tomas put together 2 injury-free seasons and play like the beast that we know he can be? He'll be 28. He's going to want to sign his final deal, and he's probably going to want at least 6 years.
Yep.
And you're going to have still Logan Couture and Evander Kane and Carlson and Burns and Vlasic still on deals, plus Martin Jones. Like, it all comes to a head in 22, 23. Unless you can move, Burns and whatever else.
Yeah. Al, apparently, I haven't looked at the score of the Monday night game, but apparently we're more entertained than Monday Night Football right now. That's good. Thanks, Al. Appreciate it.
Was it a shit show? Let me take a look.
Yeah,
was it a doubleheader, right?
Yeah, it was a doubleheader. Pittsburgh beat the Giants 26-16, and then
makes sense.
Yeah, and the crap show was yesterday at Levi's. Let's be honest.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Broncos 7, Titans 7, and we're in the third quarter. And really? That's it?
That's why we're more entertaining than Monday Night Football. Thank you.
Wow. What an offensive spectacle that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. See, RBG saying Tomas is already in his mid-20s. Dude, he's going to be a dad in a couple months, for Christ's sakes. So, yeah, that's, yeah, I know. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, he's 26 right now. I know. It seems like just yesterday he was 19, but he's going to, dude, that 22-23 season, man, that's, oof, Bergman. Oh, the other one, we have Bergman as well. That's another piece. So it's like, are guys like Bergman, Greger, Shellman, are they going to start to show up? What about, for me, this is Gambrell's make it or break it year.
Yeah.
Like if you don't show up after this, you're bye-bye. The other thing, I'm sorry. This was the other thing. 22-23, the reason why it was make or break for me is because you had Hertl, who was going to be UFA. Mm-hmm. And remember, this is all predicated that the following year Timo's deal is up, but you have Hertl at 5.6. He's probably going to, if he's a monster and wants to finish off, he's going to want at least Kane money. He's going to want at least 7 mil. But the other sticking point, Mario Ferraro, who's making less than $1 million now. If Mario Ferraro continues to be, to have the season and continue on his trajectory, wouldn't you have to pay Mario at minimum 4.5 per year?
I don't know about 4.5, but
definitely
get. I would say maybe 3, but
see, I think he's got a little more offensive upside. Remember, kid is only 21.
True. He's still coming into his own. I mean,
maybe he does it. Maybe you do the same thing you did with Hertl. You do like a 2-year bridge deal, like a show me deal, like show me you can maintain this and even get better. And so maybe they do, 2 years at 2.5 per, and then after that though, it's going to be 4.5.
Yeah.
So you got to deal with him, and then, if Merkley ends up being the stud that everybody's projecting him to be, then that throws another monkey in the wrench for a few years down the road. It's just, oof.
Yeah. And then you worry about if Ryan Merkley comes up and just shoots gangbusters, that might throw in a little bit. But I think, he might need some AHL time first before he gets the big call up.
Maybe, yeah,
as
maybe,
but
I don't.
Mueller him up, and then you're screwed.
Yeah, but there are a lot of people saying that Ferraro would have to marinate for a little bit first too. And how'd that work out?
You're right. He's turned out to be a really good cog, so.
I just who are you going to put in here? I mean, if you got Carlson and Burns, Vlasic and Šimić, Ferraro, and someone, it's not going to be Prout. It's not going to be Davis. I mean, I guess you could give Mids a look, especially because of his size. Like if he can become a bit more physical and learn how to like drop people like bad habits, that that could potentially come into play. But like to have a guy that could go beat the crap out of a Ryan Reeves
Yeah.
when needed. But
Yeah, and Rob making a point. There's also Pasichnuk
oh, yep.
as well that can make a run for it, and you also
Well,
have
what about whatchamacallit? Oh, gee, the Ferraro's roommate.
John Leonard.
Yeah, there's another piece that has a lot of people are excited about. But then again, a lot of people were excited about Chmielewski and Czech last year. So who knows?
Skylar in the chat saying, but Mario's body was NHL ready. Merkley's makes AJ's cats look intimidating with his physical ability.
Dude, he's not wrong, man. I'm telling you. I saw Merkley at Captain's Ice last September, basically just about a year ago today. Saw him. He is not a big guy. Not a big guy. I mean, yeah. He's got to put a little muscle on there. I think he might be 5'10" on a good day with lifts and his shoes. He might be 5'10" with the skates on. He's not a big guy.
Yeah, and to clarify, I guess the Sharks are allowing the players to use their training equipment and their weight equipment, because we have seen that on social media posts. They haven't been able to get on the ice though yet, which so
well. Either way, and hopefully the Sharks are taking advantage of all this downtime, making the expansion plans to Solar for America, and who knows if anything is being done to the Shark Tank, any upgrades that were just, that maybe might have been on the plans, but maybe the plans got accelerated because they all of a sudden had a bunch of downtime they didn't expect.
Right. Why don't you give Mr. Becker a call and see if he?
Because I'm talking with other people right now, so
I'm just
we'll get there.
saying, as we talk in our news radio voice.
I'll wait till the Stanley Cup has been handed out before we start talking about stuff like that.
Well,
but
I mean, and for that matter, we're still waiting official word if we have a head coach or not.
That's true.
We haven't
even
heard
thing.
We haven't heard if there's a coaching search. Has DW talked to anybody besides Bugner?
You won't. I doubt you'll hear anything like that until the Cup's handed out. You might not even hear Wilson make it official until after the draft and all that stuff is said and done.
Yeah.
So I'm just either way. I think it's probably about time to wrap it up.
Yep.
But I'm just so tickled pink for Joe Pavelski.
Yeah.
It makes me want to get another jersey that. It might not have this patch on it, but it'll definitely have this patch.
Definitely have a Fanatics logo on it for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I got to tell you, if you would have told me at any time in my life prior to this year that I would own any piece of merchandise that featured the name Dallas on it, I would have laughed you out of the room.
That's why I specifically grabbed this one, because this one's actually a North Stars jersey. Doesn't have the big D Texas patch on it, so
yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
But good for you, Titans. Yeah. But I'm just so tickled about this. But yeah, this you know what? I'm excited to talk about the end of the Stanley Cup final, when after the cup is won. We all want Pavelski to lift that up. I mean, there was a lot of people that said, that when all of this started, they were like, of course it's Marleau. And I got that. But I felt like, I feel like Pavelski deserved it just a little bit more. Just for what he gave to this team, especially last season. That just a lot that I kind of wanted a little bit more for him. So if he lifts it, I'm going to be crazy, awesome, happy. Now, if Barclay Goodrow lifts it up, I can't be mad at that, because dude is responsible for arguably, at least if you're not going to say it's the biggest goal in Sharks history, it's top 3. If you want to sit there and say, well, it's a combination of Goodrow, Donskoy, and Baker, fine. It's still top 3. You'd like to, and again, the season that he had, the way that he started with this team with the Barracuda, and then coming along, having to give up his name or his number to a piece of crap like Bodker. I mean, there's that. Then,
well, he wanted to wear 23 eventually, so
but being weighed down by some of the anchors that were strapped to him on the fourth line for a while, it's nice to see. It would be, I wouldn't hate seeing Goodrow lift that. Would I have hated seeing somebody like Michael Haley lift it? Perhaps. But or Bodker. Oh crap! I would have taken a hostage. But I would. I'm not going to be mad seeing Barclay Goodrow lift it. I just hope he doesn't, because I want Pavelski to. So anyway, with that, my name is at AJ_Strong on all the social media stuff, and chances are the Pucknologist this week is going to get bumped up by a few days if the Stanley Cup Final begins, say, I don't know, this Thursday. So look out for that. The other thing is, I'm not giving away anything. So shh.
Okay.
But it is. I just took a gander at my calendar, and it is on the calendar that I will be talking to a Sharks alumni.
Yeah, I'm very jealous of this.
Sharks alumni tomorrow, and the only hint I'm going to give you is this is somebody that we've never talked to before.
I'm very jealous of this.
Because I will tell you, I had such a great time with the John Scott interview that, holy boy, I could have done another hour with him. He's a kick, and just, boy, he's got the gift of gab. Thank God, because that's what makes his podcast so much fun. But, and I love the fact that John Scott just seems to honestly not give a damn. Like if he throws, if he mentions something and everybody else is kind of like, dude, what? Like, why are you saying that?
46
what?
viewers and just 16 likes doesn't add up, guys. Come on, yeah, let's have an upvote party on this one. And
Skyler.
No, it is not, but it is some.
No, dude, you never confirm or deny, dude. Haven't I beaten that into your head already?
Oh, please
don't ever confirm or deny.
I'm just saying. No, because I would have been dropping profanities if that was the case. All I'm saying is I'm very jealous, and I just happen to have to go down to San Jose to have AJ look at hockey jerseys tomorrow. So, I'm just saying.
Hey, bud. Are you off tomorrow?
Yes.
Oh, crap. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
And Sleepy, great point, and I'll say this as my final thought. I'm at PuckGuy14 on the Twitter, the Instagram. Congratulations to Tony Granato being former Shark. Oh, the F you to the person that went one thumb down. Tony Granato is getting selected into the United States Hockey Hall of Fame. Long time coming for a long career in the NHL as a player and a coach.
Pavelski will be like right in there.
He'll be there in like anything, for sure.
Oh man, Alden had to ruin it.
Oh, spoiler alert! Wait, Flaherty tomorrow. Damn it.
Nope. I said Alden had to ruin it.
Roman Polak. How sickening is Roman Polak feeling right now?
Alden ruined the surprise. I'm so pissed off.
But honestly, Roman Polak was supposed to be on the Dallas Stars, and he opted out. Former Shark.
I know.
Oh man.
Yeah, but you know what? Kevin Lacey making a point earlier. Maybe if Polak is on this team, they're not where they are right now. Maybe that was the best. If anything, that just got Polak a one-way ticket to not getting signed next season.
Oh, that's for sure.
So Alicia with a nice call. Yeah. I don't know. I think Alden got you.
No. Oh, yeah. AJ is totally like,
yeah.
No, definitely. In case you missed anything and you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com. I don't know what he's laughing about yet. Hang on.
Dude.
If you missed anything and watch this again, check this out on tealtownusa.com. Find our content and your favorite podcatcher apps and more, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, SoundCloud, Reddit, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and of course, always available at tealtownusa.com. Okay.
Skyler saying it's Bodker. Yeah. Yeah. If we got Bodker, I wouldn't be the one doing that interview, buddy. That would be
totally
a jerk. Yeah, that's a jerkonomics interview if I've ever heard one.
Right.
No. Yeah. Either way, plan on doing that interview. Puck Guy will probably, in all likelihood, be doing this tomorrow after a Tampa Bay win, talking about Barclay Goodrow. Meanwhile, I will be talking to a Shark alumni,
We
and
can
that
switch,
if everything goes to plan, that interview, do me a favor, hit subscribe, because then you'll get, and hit the notification bell, because you'll get the notification when the interview rolls out. It's somebody you're going to want to hear from. It's definitely somebody you're going to want to hear from. Um, and really excited to get it. And so that should roll out Wednesday.
Yeah,
Give it
definitely.
again. That's
Now,
hopefully the beauty. Hopefully timing of all of this works out, because that if Tampa wins tomorrow, you have a free day. So then you can use that time to listen to that. There'll be no football. It'll be a perfect time to give the Buck interview to Landy. Who?
oh, come on.
Only if Bodker will sit there and go, stand, son. Why you have a man bun?
Oh my god.
Couldn't
Hey,
help
no,
myself.
no, there is definitely football on Wednesday.
What?
Definitely, yes. The Quakes are taking on the Portland Timbers at 6:30.
I told you I don't watch basketball.
It's,
Uh,
Ted Ramey, if you're watching, we apologize for AJ's joke there. But with that,
hold on. Hockey Jerk sending me a tweet back from February. Not sure if this is factual or conjecture. Dallas could be in on Thornton. So
oh yeah,
and then what happened? But no, I said a Sharks alumni, not a Vegas douchebag.
yeah,
RBG.
no, you're right.
Oh,
You're
I'm
right.
sorry. RBG, in the words of Marsha Show, shut the fuck.
Don't waste my time.
Don't waste my time. Stop wasting my time.
Yeah. NHL won't put Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final against Thursday Night Football. I hope not. Nor should they put it up against NFL football on Sunday.
Well,
But it depends on
no.
how quickly they want to get this series going.
No, they basically already said if this thing ends tomorrow, if it ends Tuesday, and Tampa and New York are over in 5, it will start on Thursday.
That's insane.
They've already, but I don't think it is insane. I don't know if you looked at the ratings; they were down like 28% for Thursday Night Football for the season opener. That's your Super Bowl champion opening it, and it was down like 28%.
Well, and you know what? You got to bring a good point, because it's what, Cleveland, Cincinnati for Thursday Night Football.
Who?
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
but Sunday night,
to the fans that listen to us from Ohio, we apologize. We're okay if you listen to us after the fact.
our good friends who were once Cleveland Baron fans,
Yeah. Our apologies. There you go.
All right, we will get out of here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Check us out on the social media. Are we going to Discord after this?
Potentially,
Okay.
yes. And Skylar, just to let you know, we did have Havlat on the schedule, but he got hurt.
Oh God.
Just saying.
Oh man. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get notified when we go on with post game or content like the Pucknologist or this interview with insert person here.
Sharks alumni.
Mm-hmm. And of course, check out all our other interviews that we've done during the pause, including broadcasters, alumni, and players, and all that fun stuff. So,
okay, I'll let it out.
What?
I'm talking to a former Shark, so you can look forward to hearing my interview with Joe Thornton on Wednesday.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
Right.
Go ahead.
With that, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real, Teal. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you on the cord, and see you tomorrow.